Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Tourismus Namibia, our weekly broadcast show where we bring you some news and obviously a few holiday ideas, and then at the end always we try to have a bit of an interesting interview. So welcome once again. My name is Frank Steffen. I'm the editor of Tourismus Namibia magazine and obviously also the editor of Allgemeine Zeitung, the German daily in Windhoek in Namibia. So first up is our topics, as always, but before we go there, let's just quickly have a look at the marketplace. Welcome back, and as I said, tourism is really what we're all about, and sadly so, COVID-19 is obviously creating a huge problem for us in Namibia at the moment. It's the old story again, exactly like last year, where tourismus, as we, or in German to be saying Tourismus, but tourism sector as such is having a huge problem. Because of COVID-19, the third wave is really hitting Namibia very hard and often showing us problems that we did not realize we still had. I think the government was much more convinced that it had it under control, and the third wave has really blown the whole story out of proportion once more, simply because we didn't use the time that we had to prepare for an eventuality such as this. So yes, COVID is really taking us to task. And that is really where I'm at in our first contribution. If we look at tourism, it really is a problem. We have, the president has announced new restrictions this week, travel restrictions and all that type of thing. You can see here, Hosea Kotaka, these were still the better times when people were still allowed to come in. And the problem is, if you look at the tourism people, those who are in charge, I would almost call it chiefs of tourism, they are really worried. They're worried simply because they're not so sure that our tourism sector will be able to take a second hard hit like we had last year. And I do realize that the government obviously has to do something about it. They had no choice in this regard. But the sad part is that tourism is once again where it started just a number of months ago. The government is really trying to accommodate tourism by allowing foreign tourists to travel. They're even allowing some tourism on the local front, but because you're not allowed to travel from one region to the next as a local person, it really causes the whole tourism industry to really get bogged down again. Now, to revive the local industry is probably the easier part once our 2 weeks or 4 weeks are over. The problem is foreign tourists have all started cancelling their trips once more because they're not sure about what they can expect. It's an old story. Namibia actually is quite well off in terms of its population density, so people should be able to still feel safe, especially in the rural areas, and that's where the lodges are. But at the end of the day, people want surety. And one of the biggest concerns in that regard is that Namibians still have not quite grasped that they need to vaccinate. Vaccination is the name of the game. We've been speaking about it time and again. And I just need to say it once more. It does not really matter what you believe in, whether there's some funny theory where all the big ones are stacked against you, or whether you simply believe it's a sickness that needs to be fought. The fact is, as long as we don't vaccinate, people won't come to Namibia. So we need to face the fact. Vaccinate, get with the program, because that's what the majority of the world is doing. But having said that, I need to reiterate that I have got a serious problem when somebody like the EU goes and approves of a vaccine such as Covishield, and that is channeled through the COVAX program, which is really the key program for Africa. And once people have started using the vaccine, they suddenly say, no, but it's not good enough if you want to come to Europe. Shame on you. If that is the case, shame on you. I do not agree with that, because that is the fastest way of convincing Africans that the whole vaccination program is just a dud. And so I think the EU better gets their whole program into gear as well. I'm sorry to say, but I will not mince words about that, because you are bringing people under the false impression, and they finally just capitulate and say, no, this is not for us. These are just the Northern Hemisphere countries playing their games with us, so why should we be part of that? That's the sad news. Right, up next, obviously one of my favorite themes, even though it might actually be an infamous one, it's drilling in Okavango. And this week the Allgemeine Zeitung, the German daily, brought an update. This was an article with Annette Hübschle and Sophie Rathmel. They're both from UCT and involved in various studies. They've spoken a bit about the impact of oil drilling in the Kavango on the elephants. And so they reckon the impact of seismic surveys and oil drilling on elephant behavior could be quite serious. And that's why they recommend the use of precautionary principles in the case of Recon Africa seismic survey and oil exploration. I've put in quite a number of photos which we had in the Allgemeine Zeitung, because we basically brought the article that was brought by these two in the Daily Maverick and just illustrated it a little so that people can understand that, number one, there is an ecology up there, and yes, that ecology is largely to the benefit of elephants, buffalo, all types of antelope, and even wild dogs and stuff like that. Quite apart from the fact that we've got our San people who are up there, we've got the Kavango people, many of them still sticking to the traditional way of living. So it is quite serious, and but the article as such pretty much concentrates on the fact that 2D seismic surveys, as are intended to be held up in the Kavango, will impact on the elephants, and they base it on scientific proof that elephants largely communicate making use of seismic rumblings and the way that they communicate amongst each other. Now this is quite serious because number one, that's the way how they make sure they are and remain in the right area. Number two, this is how they tell each other that this is dry season, don't come here, rather use some other area. So there's a lot of communication, and over many miles which elephants do through that means of communication, and there's no doubt that they can't even warn each other of any possible danger coming from a region. So what you end up doing is you're disturbing their means of communication, and because of that, these elephants will move away. Now, we need to understand that they're judging it to be 130,000 elephants. Some people say it's more than that. And that's all part of the Kaza. We're talking obviously of the Kavango Zambezi area where you've got that huge accumulation of national parks. And so it's a serious threat to an ecology, not only in Namibia's case, but also in the Okavango Delta, which is just adjacent to the Kavango areas of Namibia. And we're obviously talking of Tsidilo Hills and those sort of areas in Botswana itself. So I seriously hope that somebody is listening up and saying, come on guys, are we looking at 20 years benefit, or are we looking at long-term benefit where these elephants need to be kept and they become the last free living herd of elephants of that sort of magnitude in Africa and the world as such? Right, and that automatically brings me up to the next item that I had. If you have a look here, you will see mining. That seems to be the current big thing that everybody wants to do, and it's a sad state of affairs because nearly half of the 206 protected areas in Central Africa are apparently under threat from oil and gas industries and mining as such. This is from a report published past Tuesday by Central African Forest Observatory. And they say if mining is included, it swells to 60% or some 800,000 square kilometers that is affected by this. Now, just to give you an idea, 800,000 square kilometers, that is the complete size of Namibia. And so they're really worried. They say the protected areas of Central Africa cover 15% of the land area and 5% of the marine area of the region. So permits have already been allocated for 27% of these protected areas in 10 African countries, including Cameroon, Chad, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Gabon, as well as obviously in Namibia and Angola and wherever you go. So this is becoming a huge problem, and I felt it needed to be said. I think there's a huge threat. And I must admit, as an individual, I've sometimes really wondered, what would be my recourse if I really wanted to start up a legal case and wanted to take European and North American countries to task? Would I, as individual, be allowed to actually take them to them and my government to court? And I'm talking to court in the Netherlands, and trying to enforce what our basic laws in this country prescribe, and especially more so because internationally there are many agreements which actually compel these countries to respect my country. And it should be an interesting thing that maybe sometimes we need to sit down and discuss at other levels, obviously not only in this program. But I've really reached the stage where I say, what can we do as individuals to start taking these people to task? Because it's not only Recon Africa. If we look at that sort of number, it's obviously much more. But enough of that. Those were unfortunately our news this week. They're not good, simply because it's not open season. We've got COVID, and while we've got COVID, there are a lot of hawks out there who want to abuse this situation, clearly so in terms of mining. Up next, we've got destinations, so let us whet your appetite, even though you can't obviously currently enjoy all of it. We can at least tell you about it now, so that when you get ready to come to Namibia, or if you're a local, you get ready to get out of your house again, you at least have a couple of ideas which you can pursue. Welcome back, and first of all, I would like to introduce you to, it's a relatively new place out at Elisenheim. At least I didn't know of it before. It might be that it is even older, but Yolanda Nel spoke to Lise Sorensen, and it's Sorendal Plaashuis. It's out at Elisenheim, as said. Have a look there, you can see there. It's not the obvious one, so you turn left just before you come to guest farm Elisenheim, and then further up there you can see you come to Sorendal. But have a look at the interview which was recorded.
Welcome back, viewers. We are warming up here by the fireplace at the Sorendal Plaashuis. Thank you so much for your time.
Welcome, guys. It's quite cold. It's quite cold this morning.
Quickly tell us, what can people look forward to here?
Solitude, peace, quiet, breakaway, family time. There's no distractions. There's no TV, no Wi-Fi, but there is a massive lawn, an awesome house that can house 10 people, and harvest garden, and some farm animals calling their moms at the moment in the mornings to wake us up.
You cater for locals.
Yes.
Why is it so important?
Because no one else caters for locals. We went through some tough financial times like so many other Namibians, and when this opportunity came across early this year for us to be able to make this accommodation available and this venue, we said we're not going to be greedy. This was given to us, it's a blessing for us, and we want to bless other people with it as well. So we're making it as affordable as we can, just need to cover our rent and all those stuff. But it's now so popular, we are booked out for the next 3 months easily.
That's amazing.
So it's been a real, it's awesome.
Quickly tell us about the interior. You have repurposed almost everything.
Yes, my husband and I both have architectural backgrounds. We both studied in those fields. And when we built the house in 2015, we're in the built industry. So the built industry is not the best industry to be in. So we had to work with what we had. And we repurposed old buildings that was broken down, that we acquired, and we picked up the stones on this site and we built the stone walls from this house. So everything is repurposed. I mean, I have friends sending odds and ends glasses and mugs, and there's character, there's personality. It's not just stuff bought in a shop.
What can people do here?
You can relax, you can regroup, you can spend quality time with your loved ones, you can have a party, you can have a wedding. We're actually planning a market for end of July. We're planning we have so many different events coming through. We have product launches, boutique launches, we have church camps, we have girls' weekends, we have boys' weekends, my husband is starting a forgery workshop for blacksmithing, where the guys can come and enjoy themselves for a weekend. I have my own friends, can't even come visit me anymore because we're too fully booked, but other friends have booked girls' weekends here, just to get away, and the location is perfect. It's 20 minutes drive from Windhoek. It's 5 minutes from the Elisenheim Spa and 2.5 minutes from the Farmer's Kitchen on the Elisenheim Guest House. So everything is here, but no one knows you are here.
That's exactly what people want, especially now.
Yes, and there's no curfew. There's no... COVID is a horrible time for everyone, and just to be able to break away a bit and just step back and just regroup. That is what we come do here. And something you have to do when you visit us is you have to take the picnic blankets, they're standing there in the corner, and when the sun goes down, you have to go lie on the grass and just lie there. And you will experience a peace and tranquility and just something that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, luxury for me in Windhoek is the grass. And we have 1,200 square meters of that. The kids can come and have as much fun as they want. They're not even going to miss the TV. That's not yet. So.
But it's amazing. There is ample space outside for kids to run around here.
We designed the house from the start with that in mind, because in Namibia, the kids' feet burn if they are outside in summer. So we purposely made very big stoep or patios. They wrap around the house. They also cool down the house. Very high ceilings. The kids learned to ride their bikes here in the house. They were allowed to ride straight through because we have cement floors. Nothing can get broken. So I very easily give my house to a family or a group of people, and I know exactly nothing is going to go wrong.
Thank you so much for your time. I will definitely come and visit the Plaashuis soon.
You're most welcome, and I'm looking forward to your stay. Thank you for having us.
Stay tuned, we'll be back shortly.
Listening to that interview, it sort of sparks interest in me. It's like they said, it's just outside Windhoek as you go through Elisenheim on your way to Elisenheim Guest Farm. Just before you reach the guest farm, you turn off left. And like I said, it's not far. And this clearly sounds like something out of the books, because I mean, it's far enough not to hear the Windhoek sounds anymore, or at least not that intensively, I'm quite sure. And then, yeah, it's up to you to really shape the weekend. I'm, for one, somebody who can get very well acquainted to a time where I don't need a cell phone or a TV or anything like that. I can sit and read a book and just enjoy the sunshine, walk about a bit, and just enjoy what I have. So this really sounds like a huge option for local Namibians, and I would say even for people from overseas, because I tend to remember that we once spoke on the show about Bilspoort, and what I remember fondly about Bilspoort years ago is that people would actually go there simply because they didn't want to hear anything. Now that is a quality you can get all over Namibia. Right, and then up next we also have another contribution. Tuyeimo Ivava-Haidula. She spoke to Marietta Katengo at Afrika Stadthaus, which is obviously quite well known, and on the map you can clearly see it is, I indicated it. If you look at here in the front, you see Ben's Building Supplies, and just next to it you've got Ongwediva Showgrounds. Now, Afrika Stadthaus Hotel is just around the corner. You can literally walk there. And Ongwediva is obviously quite close to Oshakati. It's on the road, as you can see there, leading up from Ondangwa to Oshakati. Ongwediva is a nice little place, and so Afrika Stadthaus is something different there. Ongwediva was probably the first settlement that started developing as and when you saw more of a housing project or two coming up in the north, especially on Ondangwa and Oshakati. And the reason why many people opted for Ongwediva is because Oshakati is actually not ideally situated. It's on the middle of a delta. So flooding and those sort of things easily affect Oshakati, and that's how the idea came to do it right next door, because it is literally next door to Oshakati. It's not far. And you can see here that Stadthaus is really offering people quite a nice home away from home. And it's in the middle of where you need to be, because Ongwediva is where most businesses come together. It is something different. You get a bit of that feel of Ambuland, and yet you have all the amenities that you would want to have. Clearly, these photos were taken when not many people were around, as you can see, but it still illustrates what is available, and it is obviously always interesting, not only for foreigners, but also for us local tourists. And like I said the other day, the O regions is really something that I can tell you, go there, have a look. We actually had a photo originally which we wanted to include of the Ongwediva market, but time doesn't allow us to always illustrate everything to the extent that we would want to. Rest assured that the Ongwediva market is a very interesting market, but even then you're close enough to Oshakati to go to the Oshakati market. There's some living museums in the vicinity. There's lots to do. There are quite a number of church museums and historical buildings and what have you. But have a look, there's the interview that we've got for you as well.
My name is Marietta Katengo. I'm a manager at Afrika Stadthaus Hotel Ongwediva. I've been working here for quite some time, it's about 13 to 14 years, can't remember that. Okay, when you come to our business, we more serve the client that we serve more corporate clients, and our corporate clients, they mostly come from Windhoek, not really from, we don't really have a lot of those working clients. And when it comes to this COVID, it has really have affected our business drastically, especially now with the new measure that I put up yesterday, the 30th of June. by the president, it have really affected our business more badly, because the client, they cannot be able to travel anymore, and on top of that they need permit, and this client, they are not coming anymore. Like currently we only have about 4 to 5 clients in the hotel that we are only serving, and these are more the essential worker client, like these people, Namota, MTC. Those are the only client that we have. So we don't know what the future will hold. And even when it comes to the workers or the staff, the employees, we don't know now what to do with them. To reduce the hours, or we are going to make some staff work for 4 days and the other one will work for 4 days. Then staff have to work only for 15 days in a month. Then that will also might happen that the salary will also be affected as well, because the business cannot take it. Because we as a business, you know, we are a private parastatal, which we just depend on the clients to get our salary. So if there's no client, there's no salary. And on top of that, our business, we save on account. Our client, they pay on account, which means they pay on end of the month. And now for us to bring in those money from account clients is even more difficult now, because the business in Windhoek, some workers, they work from home, and just to reach out those workers, they say they work from home, but just to call them, you cannot reach them because they are also on lockdown. That is very, very difficult for us now to carry on. And today, I know my boss, my bigger boss, we are going to have a meeting today where we are going to discuss how is the way forward, what will happen. Because for the past 2 weeks, we have closed our restaurant and a bar. We closed it completely. We're not serving people from the public. We're only serving the people that are sleeping here. For the reason, because we're scared for the COVID to... We just scared for the public to come inside the premises, so we're just serving the people that are sleeping here. But now from yesterday, because we see the lockdown, it was lifted up, it was not taken away. Now we are thinking to open as a takeaway, because the business cannot go on like this. We are scared. So today we are going to have a meeting and see what we'll do. Are we gonna serve as a takeaway, or we just gonna close the restaurant completely for the next 2 weeks? So we're going to have a meeting for that.
Yeah, I must admit, I always find it sad when in Namibia finally we have people who really invest and they take that next step, and they want to sell an area such as Ivava-Haidula, and they want to get people to come up there and visit them. I know she says that she's mainly dependent on government and whatever business people coming there. But the fact is that just the pure fact that infrastructure is there automatically allows for tourists to go there as well and enjoy the place and do whatever they do. And this is what we're all trying to promote and trying to get right. So it would be seriously sad if those people had to take damage over time, or possibly disappear even, simply because they feel it's not worth their while. So I really wish them well, and I hope that this final lockdown is the last one that we'll have, simply because we learn that we've got to pre-plan. We need to vaccinate, we need to get our ducks in a row, we need to be sure that there won't be a fourth wave that always causes us to shut down and reopen and shut down and reopen, because that's not a sustainable solution in the long run. So, but anyway, so if you go up to the north, that is an address worthwhile going to. Thank you to Tuyeimo for that contribution. And then up next, we've got To The Point. Yeah, with the current lockdown going on, it's not really a lockdown as before, but still with all those restrictions and people staying at home and not working and not ready to move around the country. We clearly have a problem getting people interested in allowing for an interview. So I was glad to have Yolanda Nel also contribute another interview, and this time she spoke to Deon Vermeulen. And Deon is of the Fired Up Coffee Roastery. It's one of the coffee shops situated at Pupkewitz Megabult. And the reason why I find this interesting is because coffee shops have obviously shot up all around us, all over. We've had another one previously, you will recall, on one of the shows. So let's just see what Deon has that makes their place a special place.
Welcome back, viewers. Today I'm joined with Deon Vermeulen here from Fired Up Coffee Roastery. Deon, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thanks a lot for joining me as well today.
Today we're going to talk about the coffee machine you created and made here in Namibia, and it's also patented.
Yes, absolutely. So this is really something that's been a wild one. I'm going to be dead honest, but it's really been excited. So with this whole machine that we've created is something that we've invented in Namibia. It's been something that's really great operating. To give you guys a great idea of the machine compared to your industrial machines, basically your two groupers that's internationally available. The big difference is this one works with gas, so it's a great machine. You can put it in the sea for 2 days, you can remove it and it will still work, no electrical components at all. That's really amazing. It is a 4-grouper, so it can make coffee quite fast, and obviously it's a really interesting design. So it's not something you're going to find anywhere else in the world. It's something that we've created, and we would love the Namibian community to support us with this project as well, for coffee shops interested in having these machines and so on. And we would like to take this a bit internationally, so that would be great.
And how exactly does this machine work?
Okay, so this machine, as I said, it's operating with gas. We do have the electrical option as well, if people are interested in using that option. But the gas one is really great. So it basically has a gas saver mode, which you can put it on idle, so it doesn't keep run gas the whole time. Which is great. It has 2 boilers, so it has 2 boilers both sides. So obviously you can run both boilers, or you can put only one boiler on idle, which saves gas as well. There's a 4-grouper, so meaning it can make coffee quite fast and a lot. It's brewing a bit slow, giving you the idea behind this whole idea is to extract the coffee. So you want to get a great coffee taste, and this is what we're trying to extract from it. So it extracts very well. And then obviously with a bit of a steampunk design, it gives you a bit of an ambience. Let's say wherever you are situated, you know, if you look at the machine, it just keeps on looking at it. It's really something nice to view, and it's something that builds a bit of an atmosphere, and that's something we've also focused on with the design as well. But yes, it has this machine you can operate in the desert. You don't need any water point or any electrical point to operate. It has its own 60-liter or 80-liter water tank that you just fill up, and then from that it gives you cold water, it gives you hot water. It obviously has 2 throffers, 4 groupers, so it's an amazing machine. So you don't need basic equipment. For example, when you use your bigger machines, you need tamps, for example, that you need to get. It takes a while to steam your milk as well. With this machine, it's really quick. It doesn't play around. But just with that said, it's definitely gonna give you something, a different taste towards your coffee. It's really a different machine. It's more of a slow bar machine rather than your big espresso machines, but it's just as fast, if you're not faster, and then giving you a great taste of the coffee as well.
And it's amazing that something like this is made in Namibia.
Absolutely. I think the big idea with everything happening now, you know, with this whole COVID thing going on, and a lot of businesses struggling. I mean, it's been really wild for a lot of people, but this is more of an inspiration. You know, we're in the coffee industry, and it's been, I think, all the coffee roasters around, it's definitely taking a knock. I'm not even talking about the restaurants. I'm not even talking about lodges. So they all have been taking a big knock. But this is something more of inspirational. You know, a lot of people that wants to bring something new to the table. Definitely, this is something where people will go to enjoy it. But as well as giving someone else ideas that's been struggling, you know, that there is hope. You know, you can focus a bit if you just think out of the box to get something happening. And I think a great atmosphere is definitely somewhere to start.
I think you can be proud.
Absolutely. I mean, this has been a dream for so long, and I've been working on so long on this machine. It's only me that worked on the machine. I've built it, I've created. I've been struggling so much. to get this machine going. I mean, it's in the beginning it was really dangerous. I mean, it like any other coffee machine, it has a boiler, meaning it's working with steam. So anything in that range builds pressure, and everything that's pressurized, you need to be really safe. But the machine is really safe to use. It has safety valves, it has controller valves, everything is really safe on the machine. But definitely needing training to operate the machine as well. So like any other coffee machine that you get, you're obviously going to need training to operate it. Okay. It's but definitely something worth going for. And I mean, it saves you so much on your electrical bill. It's amazing. I mean, if we run the machine, we use 2 9 kg bottles in a month, and then we make coffee. So I mean, that really saves you at the end of the day. Where electrical wise, you have to keep some places keep the machine on through night, but obviously if you keep it on, it's gonna have to keep on heating itself, which obviously it's gonna end up costing a lot as well. But yeah, that's the whole idea behind it. Really proud of it. Really proud it's Namibian, and I really hope that we can get this brand and this coffee machine out internationally. And I hope all the other people as well, all the other roasteries go as well, so we can, as a Namibian companies, to basically expand a bit abroad, which is great. So this is something I'm really excited about.
Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thanks a lot. I do appreciate it, and I really hope this is a project that everyone sees and it goes out quite wild, and everyone would be a part of.
Yeah, I find that amazing. I mean, we as Namibians often automatically wave it off and say, no, we're not into manufacturing, we can't produce, and we cannot do this and all that. And here's a man who's decided, what the heck, I mean, everybody makes coffee machines. Why shouldn't I have my own design? Why shouldn't I follow my own head and my own ideas? And he's even looking at distributing it elsewhere. So well done to him. I wish him luck. And I thought it was something different, because Yolanda actually asked me whether it's ideal for the tourism show. And I said, why not? I mean, this is stuff that we also offer to visitors, whether local or overseas. So anyway, well done to Deon Vermeulen there, and like I said, I wish him well. That brings us to the end of this show today, and I hope you enjoyed what little we had to give you today. Obviously, COVID puts a bit of a break on everything, but we still want to supply you with good news and tell you what our country is all about, so that hopefully once everything comes back and returns to normal, we're still around and can hopefully give you offer you a nice stay in Namibia. So keep well. We'll talk again next week, same time, same place. Until then, keep safe, keep healthy, stay distant, wash your hands, do whatever needs to be done. And so I wish you a happy weekend, a good weekend, and see you next week.
If you're feeling I'm feeling, and you know I won't stop. All we gotta do is take our love to the top. If I got it and you want it, and you'll never let it drop. All we gotta do is take our love to the top. I will ride for you, baby, even die for you. When I'm loving you, but my heart don't stop.